What's up, people? Punch here. So it's been a while since I've talked about Quasimorph, and it's not because I've been intentionally staying away from it or I've been playing it at all. And they did release a new update December 18th called Fresh Meat, or patch 9.8.2, and they added some new mercenaries. They have a couple here, about maybe, I think it's about 5 in total. Hana Reich gains a dodge bonus after moving and can interact with environment and inventory while sprinting. Edward Lawrence has lower quasimorphosis gain per turn, and enemies need to get closer to spot him. Bob Denaire has increased HP regeneration faster per cooldowns. Jan Schrammert has increased enemy detection range, and his attacks ignore the armor of unsuspecting enemies. And then the other one I could barely even pronounce, called Laksha Samanath, restores more health from medicine and has a high chance to successfully extract implants from enemies, meaning that if you're going to get an implant for one of your arms or legs, it'd be a lot better to use that specific person than anybody else normally. They also added some new items I'll talk about later on, but the other thing I wanted to go to was the No Gavvakh No Suffering update. Just going to talk a little bit about it because I unlocked 2 out of the 5 classes when I started playing more Quasimorph about maybe a couple weeks ago. I had Tong Kong and Cobra. Reading off some of the abilities that these different types of classes have, you have Cobra that does Tomahawk, throw critical chance plus 30%. The next one is Axe Rage, extra strikes plus 3. Then you have Bodybuilding plus 20 HP or health. Second Wind, extra action points plus 2. And it says dropping HP below 20% activates the trigger. Then it says Radius 2 and enemies out of sight lose target, called Cobra Throw. Killing with thrown weapon activates the trigger. Last but not least, Dismantler, which is all damage plus 10, all accuracy plus 25%. Each wound inflicted activates the trigger. When it comes down to Axe Rage, a wound inflicted in melee activates the trigger, and then that's about it for that one. Tong Kong, on the other hand, has Lizard, max pain threshold plus 30%, pain regeneration plus 1. Pyromaniac, fire duration plus 2 turns, plus 2 action points, and plus 15% burn chance. Setting fire to an enemy grants 5 XP. Then you have Heavy Fire, pierce chance plus 30%. Shooting a weapon grants 2 XP. Then you have Dodge chance plus 50% for combat focus. Attacks on the player whether hit or not activates the trigger. Last Bullet, all damage plus 50%. Firing the last round will activate the trigger. And last but not least, Death Over Chains, extra AP plus 1. Getting a wound activates the trigger. And that is essentially what those 2 different classes are for their abilities. Those are the only 2 that I've activated when it came down to finding the new classes. So when it comes down to the No Gavvakh No Suffering update, in terms of new content, 5 new classes, all old ones reworked. 66 implants, including 20 active and 17 quasimorphic. 1 new high explosive grenade, which I have not yet found what that is. 3 kinds of dog meat, 1 new barter item or cargo, 26 new random events, and the weight carried by your clone now affects the chance of knockback, which I didn't see that yet. The other thing I have seen a lot of is you get a lot of allies in this game now. I don't know if it's just normally a thing, whether it be from Fresh Meat or the update previously before this one, but whenever I go on to a different mission, whether it be elimination, security, escort, whatever, or even defense, they have these people that just wander around and they're all allies. I'm pretty sure it might be faction based. I'm not really sure, but it is nice to have, especially when I'm going off and doing elimination. And all of a sudden I go into a room and I see like 20 of them all dead because a bunch of my good guys / friends decided to do it for me rather than me having to go all the way across the map to shoot at them. So that is a nice touch regardless of whatever update that is. Another neat mechanic that I like about this game now, especially from previous times I played Quasimorph, is that when you shoot or target somebody, it shows the amount of damage you're going to do them on their health bar. They have a percentage chance when you're about to shoot at them, whether it be 95%, 17%, 56%, whatever the hit chance is, and how much damage they take. That is a huge, huge improvement than what it was beforehand, because I didn't realize that depending upon the range of your gun or however far you are, it really reflects upon how much damage you're going to do or whether you have a specific amount of chance to hit somebody. Now you can tell immediately through a small little box that pops up, it's got a 56% chance to take a hit or maybe even critical damage. I've been waiting for that for the longest time. With the Fresh Meat update, they added these new interactive objects: cartridge press, medical printer, primitive workbench, primitive kitchen, maintenance station, and recharge station. Now, I've only found a couple of places like the maintenance station, medical printer, and the cartridge press. I did not find the stove to where you can make food, such as Mr. Meaty or Mr. Veggie, or any of the other canned food like dog food or even spider meat. But I'm assuming it'll probably be there in other types of levels I go to, whether it be Jupiter or Saturn. They also talked about the new implants from earlier. The stealth skin makes the player invisible to enemy sight, which it says recovery time about 40 turns, while going in stealth is about 8 turns. So it's not going to last very long, but at least it might be enough to disengage from an enemy that's trying to kick your ass. They also talk about a bioaccumulator, which grants a bonus based on the clone's hunger, essentially. Data lock greatly increases the clone's field of view. Quasimorphic implants. Steps of the Bod gives a chance to stun enemies in melee combat. Whisper of Euphos, accuracy and dodge bonus, I'm assuming increase. Plague of Balar spreads poison and infections around the player. And when that is active, it shows like a green circle that's almost like a ripple effect going towards any enemy that's around you. In terms of new stuff, new items, they have 6 implants, 1 ammo, 1 alcohol, 5 raw food, 3 dishes, 3 spare parts, 5 resources, new properties for adrenaline. Then, of course, I talk about Cobra Throw with one of the classes I unlocked, Tactical Camouflage for Unit 317, and Ghost Killer for Angels of Spade. Perks have been reworked. Now they interact with new NPC AI. Another thing about the AI I did not know about is that they could actually revive you or themselves if they have a med kit. Like, for example, I picked up somebody and I gave them a health kit and a gun, and when they were dead, they got right back up again, which is really weird. And I don't know if they could pick me up confirming 100% if that's a thing, but I do remember in the patch notes they were talking about it, which it says actually right here, NPCs will now use medicine in combat as well. They can also heal and revive allies. Yes, VIPs will heal themselves if given a first aid kit, which if it means that I'm doing an escort mission and say, for example, I accidentally kill one of my teammates, or rather the VIP, maybe he might survive. But then if he has no head or his arms are gone, then I wonder if he can still be picked up. Kind of a thought. Talking more about NPCs, it says new. The use of implants by NPCs is now noted in the combat log. New difficulty setting. Using the elevator and stairs costs a turn. Disabled by default on easy and normal difficulties. Enabled on unfair difficulty. Well, that must be a real nice thing. To give something on unfair difficulty a little bit of an advantage, because unfair, in my opinion, is just straight up bullshit. I cannot tell you how many times I've lost clones because of some bullcrap to where I get shot through a wall, or there's 4 turrets with lasers and they immediately gun me down and I have no chance. So that's also a thing in this game. A couple more things for the Fresh Meat update. They talk about mercenaries rework. All mercenaries have been reworked. Their talents now have 2 properties instead of 1. Your live clones must be recloned to receive the new talents. Then they talk about procedural missions update. All procedural missions have been updated. Defense missions now have station dwellers. Failure and evacuation are now possible in all missions where appropriate. And security, the reverse of robbery missions, has been completely reworked. Now you have to hunt the robbers, meaning that they're not going to come to you all the time. You have to find them in small rooms that are kind of just sitting there, or if they're like stuck because of the pile of dead bodies inside the doorway, they'll try to smack through the wall or try to smack through the body parts. But, I mean, the Quasimorphs do that anyway. I got for the new stuff when it comes down to the Fresh Meat update. Going back a little bit before this one, which is No Gavvakh No Suffering, I want to talk a little bit about this because I did do 9.5, but I did not talk about 9.8 because I didn't have enough time, or I didn't even know about it at the time when it happened. For example, they have 6 new story missions, endless missions, ability to travel across the solar system without advancing time, new planet called Saturn and 4 moons, the 5 new classes I touched on when it came down to the Tong Kong and the Cobra, the economy update, AI update more behavior models they can now surrender, and the ability to use summons, filters and renaming for cargo hold tabs. Speaking of the cargo holds, they actually have different types on the Magnum instead of just the normal 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to like 10. They actually have armor and weapons, medical kits, backpacks, normal salvages, and then they have the cargo holds themselves. So having something that is a designated type of cargo hold for all the weapons makes sorting a lot easier for all the ammunition, for all the different types of custom ammo, for like the 12-7 heavy to where it has fragmentation. Energy cells for all the energy weapons that I currently have, such as the plasma shotgun, the disruptor, devourer, so on and so forth. So it's really nice to be able to see stuff like that, especially when it's a lot cleaner than the normal, there's a bunch of crap on the screen and one cargo hold. Keep refreshing the sorting because I don't know where my stuff is, whether it be my new guns I got, or I had to get like a new type of bartering item I need to go sell. Also added the Techland storyline, which I don't think I'm ever going to do because, to be honest, I hate Techland. I hate them in general. Like, anytime I see them with a Techland mission, I'm going to go in there and destroy every single one of them with whatever gun I have. Even if I have to use a toothpick, I just want them to be blown up. Then they talk about Redacted Engine and Endless Brown Fedoras. The Redacted Engine lets you head into Redacted, where endless missions await you. And by the way, that's exactly what it says in the patch notes. So anybody that's like, Redacted, what the hell does that mean? I don't know either. They talk about dive into Brown Fedoras as deep as your nerves and guns allow. There's no limit. The deeper you go, the tougher and denser the enemies become. In Redacted, time in the solar system is frozen. Ship systems operate unstably. But you gain one crucial advantage when you can now travel across the solar system without losing time. Going on, they talk about overhaul of mission completion conditions. If the objective is completed but the clone dies on the way back, the mission still counts. The clone will be missed, but the reward will ease the pain. VIP's death during an escort no longer leads to your operative's elimination. You can evacuate the clone and keep your gear, or try to revive the VIP and finish the mission. Assuming you have a defibrillator, or if you could pick them up with a med kit, which I doubt. I think a defib or something else that's similar to that will be the only way to get them up. Still talking about NPCs. NPCs spend a limited amount of AP on attacks, from 40% to 70% depending on quality and training, at least one attack per turn. New behavior states retreat to defensive positions, panic, attempt to surrender to the player. NPCs learn to use items, be ready to see robots, turrets, and spiders appear right before your eyes, which I did not know that when you get a cocoon, you could actually pop it, and you could have a literal spider as your ally that goes and murders everybody for you. The thing you're seeing me shoot right now is actually a ultra wave shotgun. I did not know what this thing was until I was using it, and it's just like the Enigmatic, to where it doesn't have a amount of ammunition you need. Once that goes all the way down to the bottom, or like there's no yellow bar left, it's gone. So I don't know how to recharge it other than going to a maintenance station and being able to recharge it that way. What you see here is called the metamatter, and when it says quasimorphic items plus 50, I think it's like a item that allows you to repair quasimorphic items, whether it be armor and weapons, in order to get them back up to durability, because it shows the wrench in terms of being able to repair stuff. I want to talk about, which is the sensor. It used to be like an item that didn't do anything. Now when you use it, it shows everything, like the Eye of Korra, to where it shows the entire map. Except the big difference between the sensor and the Eye of Korra is that the Eye of Korra was a one-use item. This one, the sensor, has multiple uses, kind of like how it is for Antidote or being able to use a med kit, when that used to also be a one-item thing, which I really like that they changed that, including smoking cigarettes. Instead of getting 100 quasimorphosis minus, it's actually minus 50, but you have multiple charges of it. All in all, I will say that these two updates have given me another reason to come back and play Quasimorph again. I've been loving the new stuff that they did, especially when it comes down to the percentage chance, being able to shoot a target and see critical chances hit, or see how much damage they take with the different types of weapons I have. Not to mention all the new implants that you could put on your character, from quasimorphic type of implants to robotics and so on. Watching your character have more health than others, or being able to dish out damage just by punching something into a wall, and watching the different animations of the energy weapons, like the energy shotgun, the energy sniper rifle, the disruptor, the devourer, and so on. So I cannot wait to see what else they have to offer in these new updates when I go and explore some more after this recording. But I thought I'd put it out that I have been late to the party when it comes down to 9.8 and 9.8.2. But that's all I got for this video. I'm going to put the URL in the description down below for the two different types of patch notes if people want to check them out. For Fresh Meat, the newer one, which is December 18th, and the one before that, which is No Gavvakh No Suffering. And I've been One Nut Punch as per usual. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.